This is the Bill O'Brien Podcast with your host, John Meterparel.
Caught past the 25 to the 20 to the 15, goes Bond to the 10 to the 5 towards the end zone and in. Lewis Bond is the Eagle in the end zone.
Producer Ciaccio.
We were using the equipment from like the 1970s when Ciaccio was
the 90s. It was the 90s.
Ciaccio was like
the
hanging out with his
the
neighborhood
gerbil
buddies.
in the back was cranking it up.
Yeah.
The Bill O'Brien Podcast, talking BC football, sports, pop culture.
The sun will come up tomorrow, slowly, but it'll come up.
The Bill O'Brien Podcast.
All right, I feel like we need some like Patriots intro music here or something. It was the old Brady intro that he used to use.
New England, the Patriots, and you.
Yeah, something like that.
Back in
Play that
1986.
stupid touchdown song. That Bon Jovi thing.
Look at that. See, you can't take the radio out of the guy. Scott Zolak, welcome to the Bill O'Brien Podcast.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. See my man Billy O.
Oh, so
This
good.
is so
to
great
have
having him
Zoe
home here.
When you said that we were having Zoe on, I mean, we've had some great guests, but this is a legend right here. This is a legend in the house.
We go way back. Can we tell
Way back.
Can we tell the story real quick? Where
Which one?
I upset your whole family. So you guys all know me, Ciaccio, Meter, and Billy, and like I'm over the top energy guy. You know, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And
I've heard.
I was doing Patriots pregame, postgame for Channel 4. I'm still doing it to this day. God, I was like, what year did you guys play the Ravens? It was
09.
09. So this is 09.
It was a rough year all the way around.
Ray Rice takes that one backside. Gary Guyton was backside backer. He overran it. Ray's gone. I think we got the ball next series. Matt Light misses a block. Tom strip sack. Boom. Ball's down. It's 14-zip. Something happened later in the game. And I got so mad in the postgame. I said, you know what they got to do? Steve Burton goes, what do they got to do, Zoe? Because they got to fire Billy O'Brien, man. I never thought of it, and I didn't really know Billy at the time.
Yeah.
And so many people came up to me and goes, hey, Billy's family heard that, okay? And when Billy hears it, he'd be very upset. I went the next week, I sought him out on the sideline. I don't know if you remember this. This was about at the 30 where Mr. Kraft stands. I said, Billy, I got to tell you something. I feel so bad about what I did. But it's a learning moment because, you don't know what goes into it. I do know what goes into it. But it's the raw emotion of just letting it fly, and you've done that.
But when he tells, no doubt. So when he tells that story, though, that after that game, we all thought we were getting fired. I mean, I'm talking about that Bill was going to tell the offensive staff to take a hike. so you were not in the minority. We had several of us.
Beautiful day too. I remember that game.
Yeah, it was a great day, but that was a rough year. If you remember that year, we were 10-6. We won the East, but it wasn't a typical Patriot year. We had a lot of injuries. We didn't have a great roster, and the key to that whole story is, though, and I give Bill a lot of credit on this, is he came in, a couple weeks after that season ended, and he said, we're changing.
Yeah.
And that's when we went. We were an 11 personnel team,
right?
And we went and we drafted Gronk and we drafted Hernandez, and we became a 12 personnel team. And so the next year, 10 and 11, we were like one of the top offenses in the league, because we kind of scrapped that whole way of doing things and went to 12 personnel.
I remember watching a couple practices in the bubble that year after you drafted those two guys, and how excited you were. You used to slap Gronk on the head. Yeah. Aaron, get over here. But your excitement to use this new offense. And Bill sort of had that vision with Ben Watson and Daniel Graham.
Yeah, he did.
Not as dynamic of players as these two guys.
Yeah.
Rob's a game changer.
Yeah, but
and
Bill,
Aaron had sweet moves too, boy.
He did. Yeah, he did. But Bill knew he had a lot of knowledge of the tight end position, because when he was in Detroit, as an assistant coach back in the day, he worked a lot with the tight ends.
Yeah.
He worked special teams, he worked tight ends. So he knew a lot about tight ends. So we changed. We went from, like I said, to a 12 personnel, and that ended up being a really good thing for us.
From tight ends coach of the Lions to a beach yoga enthusiast now. So.
You still do that whole voice inflection thing, Meter, huh?
He does. So that's the thing about you. You have, I love listening to you on the radio.
Yeah,
but this guy's got it's movie phone.
It's professional.
When you you call the movies to see what. Yeah. Now playing in Cinema 6 is.
Tell me what you want to see.
Why don't you just be the perfect in-game down and distance guy? 1st and 10 at 23.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll take it. But good to see you, Zoe. This is episode 35.
35.
35 of these.
Who the hell did you have on before me? What'd you wait till 35 for?
Well, 35 people have listened to it too. So So one for each podcast.
Josh asked me, "Did you listen to it?" I said, "No, I haven't listened to it yet."
We were in
I'm
the.
like,
It's
I
much.
said to him, he's like, "We doing this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you should probably listen to the last one we promoted." He walks in, I go, "Did you listen?" He goes, "Nah, no."
I didn't have
Like,
time. I had
What
time.
you gotta do?
Before our show and this,
Driving
wrong
back.
with it?
No,
They're
wait a minute.
terrible.
Now. Wait a minute. Waltham to Rentham.
Yep,
I live right around the corner from you.
awful.
That's a long commute.
It's brutal in the morning now. Like I don't know what the hell these people do on 128.
It's awful.
It's 4 lanes, just dead stop, 8:30 to 10 o'clock. It takes me an hour and 40 minutes to get from Rentham, which is right by Foxborough, to Waltham.
You
We're
leave
right
your
off the
house. What
highway.
time do you leave your house?
Leave my house at 8:30 just to be safe to get on at 10. But I'm home by 2:50, so on the way home, I get home in 50 minutes.
So that's
it's not
you
bad.
listen to the Bill O'Brien podcast.
Right. Then when
On the way home.
Billy hires me to be tight end coach, then I could live here in Brookline and
Oh, absolutely.
just have some fun here.
That would be fantastic.
See, there you go.
We'll go to Mary Ann's. I'm not allowed to Paradise anymore for
Mary Ann's is
certain
no
issues.
longer. Shut
Mary
down.
Ann's is no
We'll
longer.
get to
There's
that.
no Mary Ann's.
Yeah,
No Mary Ann's.
Paradise still there?
Gone. I know the Paradise story.
Is that where Chris Sell wrecked his bike right in front of that?
I believe so. Yes. A lot of people wreck things outside Mary Ann's.
Yeah.
But the Paradise story we got to get to because that was
Yeah.
a classic WEI story.
That'll never happen if Parcells was coach. So go ahead.
All right. But what we do here, Zoe, is we signify a podcast with a New England legend, sports legend, based on their number. So number 35. Now you can go Patriots, Jim Nantz, the
Patrick
late
Pass?
great Jim Nantz, Patrick Pass.
Pat Pass.
I don't think we have a 35 now.
No, 35 is a weird football.
It's a
number.
weird one, man. We were talking about that today. Like, what number's Diggs going to wear? What about 89? Like, because 14's taken. Spillane has it, the new linebacker. Number one is
Spillane's wearing
Polk.
14. Mike gonna let him wear 14.
Spillane. Like all these, Billy, this is the hardest thing, and this is what Brady would always complain about is you get so conditioned seeing guys in their 20s, and then you get like Judon that's a 9.
Yeah.
Now these big heavy guys are wearing 9s and 14s.
Single digits.
Well, wait a minute. Are you a nickel or it screws you up.
like recruiting.
Trying to call out Mike's. Yeah.
Yeah, 35 is an awkward number.
89 is an awkward number. You don't see a lot of 89. Steve Smith was the only good 89.
They should break out 83. Branch's number was he 84 or 80?
He was 83. Troy was 80. 80's available. I said take 80.
Take 80.
They should break out 80 for Diggs.
Diggs.
Yeah, I agree.
Give Polk
Pay homage.
money for number one? He's got enough.
I think Polk, he could use a shakeup. Just forget about last year and
Polk-
just take another number.
Polk needs a reset.
Yeah, we'll reset. He'll be all right.
Javon Baker reset.
Yep.
Major reset.
There's something there with Baker, man. Like, you get around camp and watch these guys. Polk got everything in camp.
Yeah.
Camp, as you know, and preseason is much different than
Right.
week
The
1
real
on the road
deal.
in Cincinnati, and then you're home with Seattle, and lights are a little bigger.
Yeah, it's
It's
different.
like trade Joe Milton who played against the 3s and 4s. Oh, get a third round.
Joe was so good that last game, people want to trade Drake now and play
Right.
Joe. We
I
get
heard
those
that.
calls.
I heard you hung up.
Yeah, we hung up on him. We hung up. Not today. We're not doing that today.
Oh my God.
What they
35.
used to say about you with Bledsoe when you're backing him up. Come
Oh
on.
yeah, they have people. All the fans loved it when Drew would suck. You can hear all the chants and that. And I'm like, you don't want that in there. I'm just trying to keep my head down. But there'll be those games too, man, where it's like we're on the road up in Buffalo, and I see he gets hit pretty hard in the fourth quarter. 7 minutes.
I was
left. We're down 4, and I see him. He's stuck. I know when he's got that look, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm buckling up my chin strap. I haven't thrown in like 3 quarters, and I'm like, not now. You stay in the game. You're all right. Let's go. Stay in there.
It's freezing. I was at the game you started in Jacksonville in the playoffs. Remember that?
Love it, Purnell. If he caught that, we walked in. We would have been up.
Yes.
We would have been up 2014, third quarter, late.
We go down to Jacksonville.
We were terrible that game.
You were.
We had a
that,
chance.
that was not a good
Yeah.
game.
What year was that?
98.
90, 98, 99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoe was. You started that. What was the predicament there?
That's when his pin and his finger fell apart.
yeah.
He played like 3 games with that pin in, which was crazy. Doc at the time, that I'm thinking this is great. So it took me like 8 years for him to finally get hurt. I'm joking. And
Was that
he had-
Zarin's? Doc Zarin's?
Dr. Zarin's was there.
How about that?
And another doctor came Friday before, and I'm preparing all week to start, and we're out there Friday, and the guy goes, let me see. Well, since the pin is through the tip of your index finger, if we put a brace on the back of the index finger and we shoot up each individual joint, and you can't feel it, let's see if you can throw. So they did it, and I hear him screaming as they're, I can't even look, as they're 3 guys are holding his finger down as they're shooting it up. That hurts, to get it in your finger. And he throws it, and the last thing to leave the football is that pin.
Oh,
so he's actually throwing tighter spirals with the pin. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm never going to play. But thank God 2 games later it came dislodged, and he was done for the year, and they shut him down. So I got 2 games in that year. So.
Oh man! But 35 since we're watching Celtic City. on
Reggie
Max.
Lewis.
Reggie,
Reggie, yeah.
Lewis.
What a sad thing too. That was that was during that time where a lot of bad things had happened to the Celtics in a whatever 5-year span.
Oh yeah,
Lenny Bias, Maryland.
I went to
Terp.
Maryland, man. Best thing about, if you want to talk about Maryland real quick, the original ACC school. The ACC was so great back in the day.
Yeah,
we all played each other. You pretty much bust all the games because it wasn't even worth the time to take the whole team to get on an airport down at BWI because we were 45 minutes from BWI. But my recruiting trips were always under the bucket to watch Len Bias play, and Carolina was in, Duke was in. I got recruited heavy by Duke, so I went down to Cameron Indoor to watch some of the games down there.
How about that?
Spurrier was there at the time.
How about that?
They were 1-10 though, but I'm like, I'm number 2 kid coming out of the state of Pennsylvania. I can't go to Duke. My mother wanted me to go to Duke.
Good school.
Schnellenberger went to Louisville. This is after they won it that year before.
Yeah.
So they recruited me hard, promised me starts as a true freshman. And I'm like, I panicked. My dad wanted me to go there because they were giving all kind of stuff. And the NIL, that was the original NIL deal.
Yeah.
No, we can't talk about that. Yeah, but I fell in love with Maryland. I like the campus, like just the brick campus with the pillars. Like you see BC, when you pull up, you can tell this is a campus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miami recruited me. I couldn't tell where the campus was, where it started. Just it didn't have a feel of a college. I wanted to go to a college, and Maryland had it all.
Cole Fieldhouse.
Cole Fieldhouse was great.
Oh, the best.
Everything was
Fantastic.
great.
Place rocked.
Played with the guy that invented Under Armour. So going
Kevin
back,
Plank.
Yeah, Plank.
Plank.
Plank was a lineman. We had those thick champion T-shirts that just got sweaty and heavy.
Yeah.
So he had the Nike Dry Fit, tweaked it, borrowed $30,000 from his grandmother, put it together in his basement. And that's when Jerry Rice and I think John Abraham from the Jets started wearing it.
Yeah.
And that thing just took off.
Blew up.
Yeah.
I think he supposedly he was going to stop. They gave him like a week, and he's like, "Give me 1 week," and it was literally the last day, and he finally figured it out. That's when Rice called him.
Yeah.
That kept him in business. That's
great.
the story that I heard.
It's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
So when you think about recruiting and all
Yeah.
that, and then your college experience, and then when you went to professional football,
Yep.
and who was the first coach you played for in professional football? Like
Dick McPherson was recruiting me to go to Syracuse at the time.
Right.
He took over here in New England.
Yep.
They drafted me first pick in the 4th round. He calls me. He's like, "Well, I couldn't get you to go to Syracuse. We drafted you." So it was Joe Mendes and Buckle Kilroy who put it together.
How about that?
To draft me. So Joe came after me hard. And I get there, and it was Dick McPherson. Yeah, and Scar was an assistant at the time. But Dick brought everybody. Dave Uris.
Yeah.
Joe Collier.
Uris was here the other day at the
Was he?
pro day. Yeah, he's with the Lions now.
Watch him do power cleans. He doesn't hold back, man. It's the weirdest thing
I don't
ever.
think he's doing any power cleans these days.
No, but Dick brought his whole Syracuse staff with him, and it was hard because that's a collegiate staff trying to do the pro thing.
And then then you were there during a very transitional time of the Patriots as a player. I mean, you've seen it all at the Patriots.
Seen it
I mean,
all.
Because the ownership changed, and then obviously the coaching, and,
Yep.
and Bill Parcells came in there, and
Remember, Victor Kayam was our owner.
Kayam,
he would lay out razors before Christmas, and we would all veteran players. Tip would go up first and get the first razor. He got the nicest one. By the end of the day, I got the ladies' leg razor trimmer. But hey, what are you gonna do? It was nice and soft. Then eventually it was James Orthwine, and then I remember I was starting the games. Drew was down. I think he had a shoulder, and Jankovic brought this pudgy older guy down to the bubble. He was a short older guy with he had a great tan, and he had like long brown hair. It was Mr. Kraft at the time.
Yeah.
And he introduced himself. He says, "I'm going to buy this team one day." And I'm like, who the heck's this guy? You know? And never forget that. And then
that's awesome.
Just to see it go. We used to drive in cars and go practice in a half bubble, 40-yard bubble. Couldn't run go routes. Couldn't run posts.
God.
And it was in the middle of a trailer park in the back. You guys remember that lot down there? It was a race.
It was a racetrack.
It was a racetrack.
Yeah.
And to
dogs.
think about where it is now today.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's nuts. But like the whole recruiting thing too, man. I see these kids now, and you know what it's like, the portal thing, the NIL.
Yeah.
Some of these kids are committing in 8th, 9th grade.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was one of the most heavily recruited kids in Pennsylvania. You didn't commit until January of your senior year.
We're going into your senior year.
You take your 5 official visits,
yeah.
and then you commit.
Yeah.
Nobody committed early.
It's
ever.
way sped up
How did
now.
Everything's
How did
backwards.
Penn State let you get out of that state, or Pitt for that matter?
Great story here. They were one of the first to recruit me. Jerry Sandusky started coming in my house when I was in 9th grade. My dad was my athletic director and one of my coaches, and he became best friends with my dad.
Yeah.
And you never saw any of this stuff or thought about
Right.
Jerry. And Jerry made you feel great as a kid and like recruited you so hard. And I remember having meatballs with Joe Paterno with his wife and his Coke bottle glasses. Well, if things don't, we're going to recruit you really hard, but if things don't work quarterback, we're going to make you a linebacker.
Yeah.
So Jerry started talking about, I never played defense in my life. Jerry wanted to make me a linebacker. Told Browning Nagel the same thing. Hostetler, just they see 6'5", 230.
He told Gannon. He told a lot of guys the same thing.
Yeah,
Jim Kelly.
Neck roll, Jim Kelly.
All of them.
And we're all Western PA quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like we played quarterback in Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go to Penn State. They took Tom Bill. They only took one quarterback out of Toms River, New Jersey.
Yeah.
They found him drunk, passed out one time. They wish they took me after that.
So I want you to tell us about Parcells, like the very first team meeting when he first came walking in the door, or things like your Parcells stories are awesome.
It's so this is before cell phones, the internet, everything, and we had places we would go out in Boston. Our cliques. Thursday night would be a certain place. It would be Daisy Buchanan's. Monday was Daisy's too because we had Tuesday as an off day. Dad's Diner, and we always just went to this place, Houlihan's down in Faneuil Hall because they had a dance floor down there. We all liked to dance.
That's the place was.
So we met all the girls. And dropped down. It was great. They let us DJ.
Yeah.
So I'd drive up to the stadium, come in, and Parcells be standing outside, and he had those old bike shorts pulled up over his belly button. Excuse me. And he'd be up there, hey honey, how you doing today? You a little sluggish? I was Daisy's last night. And I go, what are you talking about? I didn't go out. Yeah, you were there with so and so and so. He goes, don't worry, I got my rats everywhere. And he always had those styrofoam cups. Excuse me. Styrofoam cups for the coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was the old coffee maker in that old building.
Right.
Yeah.
But
He would greet these guys every.
he loved the whole court.
Is that like,
Excuse me.
did you ever greet guys when you knew they went out?
I did. When I was in Houston, the way that they would enter the building, I would try to be down there a lot in the mornings just to. Just to see how they were doing and things like that. But I didn't know. I mean, we had some things, but not like that.
But he knew how to work every guy. He liked being around the guys. I think that's what I love the most about Bill.
That's the key to it. Right. That's the key to it.
He was a pain in the butt to play for. Yeah, you were miserable. He made you miserable during the week. It's like walking on eggshells. There's a lot of Belichick like him, but Bill doesn't have the personality, meaning Bill Belichick, that Parcells had. Parcells would have you eating out of his hand. He did it with the media, stride and stretch was the worst. You're out there stretching. Here comes a whistle, and he's twirling. Like, well. Look at these two quarterbacks. Yeah. You guys go to the carnival with your girlfriends. You guys couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a fistful of rice from 3 feet away. They go home crying, "Hey, Al!" And he starts yelling, "Al Groh!" And Al's down there like shaking his head, Al. And then Rack down there. Romeo Cornell too, one of my favorites to be around.
The best.
He always kept M&Ms in his back pocket. In the bike shorts, you could always take them out. So I would always take out the M&Ms and hide them in my pocket. Halfway through practice, he's sugar. He's looking for sugar and can't. Zolak, where the hell's my M&Ms? I got them down here, Rack. We ate half of them, but it was so fun to be around those guys, man.
Rack was the best.
Yeah, but Parcells, man.
But he changed the whole culture of that place, right away.
Everything, man, because we had a decent team.
Yeah.
Our 2-14 team.
Yeah, it was a lot of
I
talent.
go through it. Like Maurice Hurst was a corner.
Bruce Armstrong.
Tippett, Johnny Rembert, Bruce Armstrong, Tim Goad.
Tippett.
We had Leonard Russell was our running back. Pat Harlow was our first rounder. Like our draft, all 4 guys started. Ben Coates was the 5th rounder behind me.
Yeah.
We had Sam Gash, Kevin Turner as fullbacks.
Yeah, a lot of good players.
And we just
Good receivers.
couldn't come together. And Parcells added it when his draft. His first draft was Willie.
Yeah.
So Willie McGinnis, and you get
Yeah.
Brewski, the Ted Johnsons, and when you got Ty Law, and those guys, everything changed.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. I mean, when Belichick got the job, what was that? I know you were distanced from that, but when he got the job, do you think that was going to be?
I'll tell you this. So when I got cut my last year from Miami, no, I got cut. That's when it was over for me when I got cut from Miami. But prior to that, Parcells calls me, and I'm on the beach with my wife down in Miami. And I had these 2 bulldogs, Boomer and Molly, and he loved the bulldogs. We used to take him over his house, let him babysit them. He didn't want to buy them. He just wanted me to bring his dogs over every once in a while so he could have them for a little bit. So the phone rings. We're on the beach. Patriots, I think, signed John Freeze. I was going to go to Tennessee. They were after me. Phone rings, and it's Amy answers it. My wife, she goes, "Oh, it's Bill Parcells." I'm like, bull crap. It's not Parcells. She goes, "Is this really Bill Parcells? What's the name of my dogs?" He goes, "Boomer and Molly. Put them on the damn phone now." So she goes, "Holy crap, it's him." He goes, I got it up for grabs right now. Whoever could get here by 9 o'clock tonight, it's either you or Rodney Pete's going to be the backup.
Oh my
So
God.
Vinny was the starter.
Yeah.
This is them coming off their big year.
How about that?
So they put everything into this year, and then we were playing in the preseason, and I get a call from Bledsoe. He goes, "Hey, what's going on? They traded for Rick Meyer." I had no clue.
How about that?
So Rick was up between Drew and Rick for the number one pick. When Bill made the pick, he ended up picking up Drew. He picked Drew, which was the right pick.
Yeah.
But son of a guns, those former first rounders, they got 9 lives. So I knew I was going to get cut. I still had to go out and play the game.
Yeah.
But then, he ends up cutting me down there. So
What about the Marino story? I heard you talk about 95 the other day. You have a few Marino stories.
He's the best.
What's your favorite one?
who was it? Kippy Brown was the
Kippy
offense
Brown.
coordinator.
Yep.
Kippy Brown was offense coordinator. Jimmy was down there. Now, thank God, Jimmy recruited me hard to go to Miami when he was there to you. So we had a little bit of history there. So he goes, "Hey, I just need a guy to come in and back up because Jim Drunkenmiller was in there." He goes, "He's dumb as a rock. I can't get him to do anything." So they already ran our offense. So it was turnkey for me. I went down, split right, scat right. It was the old stuff.
Yeah.
So it was North Turner's offense. And Marino was the greatest, man, because I grew up in Pittsburgh and Danny was my idol. Him in Montana, and I was able to emulate Marino pulling up his pants. You know, we used to cut our jerseys the same, and
a great guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
He took such great care of all of us. And like I was a new guy there, but he knew me from prior. But when we were on the road, like you see all the helmets and pictures here, they would have 50 of them lined up for Danny when we would go visit a team, and Danny would have to sign them all. But his only ask was, "I want a platter of the Soprano meats, so we're gonna have meat platters with sandwich spreads and that, mustard and that." Old Italian guy, like typical guy, gabagool,
Capicola,
a bottle of Absolute, and all the fixins, orange juice, cranberry juice, and that, a light, and one of those old construction lights that you hang, with the cover on it, because we were me, him, and Damon Heward. This is prior to 9/11, so we would sit in the equipment truck in the back with the door cracked, where all the bags were. We'd be sitting on them with that light, eating all this food, drinking, and smoking cigarettes. It was unbelievable. And I'm like, this is like the days. He was the last of the Len Dawsons, where Len Dawson would go in, have a cigarette and a beer at halftime.
Famous picture.
But that was Marino, man. And
He was awesome. Great with his teammates.
Yeah,
you
sounds like
could hear that ball spin when he threw it. Him and Elway, man. It was like,
was he the best arm you ever saw? Outside of Brady?
Him, Vic. I think Vic could hum it.
Vic.
Yeah, but that's more of just a natural wind up. But Danny from just
So
a chest.
when you got done playing, did you come right back here to Mass to start doing?
Yes. So I came back here because this was our home. My wife's from here. She grew up in Wellesley. We just had our first baby.
Yeah.
So we got a 1-year-old. And so I kept it open. And I remember watching a video of Ricky Williams when he was like a goat herder at the time. And they asked him, "Well, Ricky, you're not playing anymore. How do you live? What are you living off?" He goes, "Well, I'm living off my severance from my pension." And I'm like, "Severance from your pension?" So I called Ralph Sindrich, my agent, up. I go, "Hey, Ralph, I've been out of it for like a year. What the hell's my severance from my pension?" He goes, "I thought you wanted to keep it open." He goes, "You got to file papers to retire. Then you get $10,000 for every year you're in." And I go, "File the damn papers. I got to cut a $100,000 check the next day." And I'm like, "You didn't tell me about it." He goes, "I thought you wanted to play." I'm like, "Well, not anymore."
Yeah.
So then just being around it here, Bob Lobel used to be the anchor at Channel 4. One of the best of all time. Calls me, goes, "What do you think about doing pregame, postgame on Channel 4? I go, "I got nothing else to do unless they're paying you." The shows were so bad. Like I can't listen to this podcast because I hate hearing myself from my Pittsburgh twang. I can't see myself on TV. I hate it. I can't stand.
But the thing, like, I want to hear the rest of that. But the reason why I enjoy listening to you is the way that you guys on your show that you do now. The way that you just kind of like you're there and you'll just interject like quietly, like you're not that loud on that show. You yourself.
Somebody. We were into some sports discussion. Somebody walked by with a cheesesteak, and I'm like, "Where do cheesesteaks come from? Let's go, get them in here." My ability to disrupt the show. I try. That's part of the challenge. Is I hate the shows like Felger and Maz are like 4 hours of straight sports. Yeah. Their best segments are when they do 5 questions not associated with sports.
Yeah.
Because they got to talk about like Taylor Swift and that. Mike gets uncomfortable, and that's what makes it funny. So we're good crossing between.
What we used to do.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
But like the Diggs stuff, Stephon Diggs stuff hit. We went 4 hours on Diggs today. So
but
that's
you know
like
those
easy.
days
But that's your
but like prior to it, like we had
zone.
Celtics ready to go, some Bruins stuff about one of them walking back some of the comments, and we did none of that.
Right.
Other shows will still force it. Like we're driving in this morning. Both morning shows are doing Celtics and Bruins. I'm like, how do you doing that on a day like today?
Yeah.
You know, he'd been waiting for them to make a big
Awful.
signing.
Yeah,
They
you
did.
got to do digs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful.
So then you went. So you did, and then
So I did pre and post.
and then the radio stuff, like the 98.5 wasn't even in
There
existence.
was no 98. There was WBCN, the Rock of Boston. It was
Yeah,
a massive
104.
It was a massive booming station.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kraft had the vision to put Gil and Gino on FM. So when our pregame show and postgame show and the game goes to FM,
Yeah.
you know, then that booming signal,
Yeah.
and that's what really threatened, I think, EEI, you know, with the AM sound of baseball.
no
you know,
question.
Yeah.
You got to be, you know, and it sort of ages you a little bit, the
yeah.
AM sound.
Yeah.
And I started doing the pregame, postgame on that. So I did
Yeah.
radio and TV. And then eventually Andy Gresh was in Providence, a little crappy station in Providence. And I had no benefits at the time. So you figure you have the baby, 1-2-year-old, and I need insurance.
Yeah.
So, hey, come on, we'll do 5:30 in the morning radio. So 5 a.m. radio to 9 a.m. prior to Opie and Anthony.
How about that?
So we did the lead-in show down there, and I was making like $50,000 doing it, but I had benefits at the time. And then eventually, when the Sports Hub came to be 15 years ago, Mark Hannon called us and said, hey, we're going to audition you. Stuck me and Tangway together. They fired him. Then they fired Gresh. Then we got Beetle. He'll be fired next. No, I'm kidding. I told him, I said, I'm not going anywhere. My name's first on the show. Right. You know, but I love working with those guys. But Beetle's so damn good. He could, you know, and he puts up with me. He knows how to get me in and out of stuff.
You guys are good. So
I can't drive the bus. I'm more of a number two.
yeah, you're a great number. So like what about when you started doing the telestrator with Belichick?
Okay, so this is another
Illustrator.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, so Bill picks the plays for the telestrator, and there'll be times where, you know, we're ready to tape. Like I walk in, we're ready to do the show. We don't have the plays yet, and Bill's down there. So Matt Smith, head of Craft Sports down there, is texting Bears, "Can we get the plays? Can we get the plays?" Bill's like really putting a lot of thought into putting it out there because he doesn't want to seem like crap. So I guess Mike Lynch did it for Channel 5. When the show went over to Channel 4, it was this guy, Bill. Bill Belichick had the idea, hey, what about Zoe? You know, I got a good relationship with Zoe, and we could just talk football. And then it was a little rough at first, but once we figured out the non-glitches, and then it just took off from there. But there were games where we would come in after you got beat, and I know how Bill is in the hallway. It's tunnel vision. He doesn't even say hi to you in the hallway. I'm like, what the hell are we going to do on this show coming up? And I'm like, you know what? He comes out. I start talking Navy football or Blue Crab. He goes, oh yeah, there's this place down in Baltimore, Inner Harbor. So I loosen him up 5-10 minutes to get him going, and he'd be great on the telestrator.
Yeah. That's awesome. I enjoyed watching you guys do that.
So didn't you go to EEI and do afternoons with Big Show too to kind of work your way back?
I did, yeah. Glenn was great when I got fired from Providence. Yeah. We all were over there. Felger and Maz were over there because they would do baseball fill-ins. I'd be a football fill-in. Then I did Dell and Newmy. Middays. So they were all great to me over there. We all had a start over there.
Do you remember this story? I was producing for Dennis and Callahan, and I hated waking up. So I get a call. They come down. We're looking for a PD, right, man, in Providence. Remember, I met with I can't even remember the woman's name. It was you, Gresh.
Oh God,
and that woman, and she's like, "Come down and work for us." So I hemmed and hawed, and then like 2 months later, you guys were all gone. I was like, "Thank God I didn't
flip the country."
Yeah, they flipped to something. I was his boss, and I was like, "Thank God I didn't do it."
How about that?
I bought a coffee pot when Mr. Coffee won $20 at Walmart. I took it with me when I got fired.
You get fired. They
I'm
just
grabbing
flipped.
pens. I'm grabbing pens. Everything
are
like
famous
that.
one.
No
Grab
pads.
pens.
All legal pads. If it's free, take 3.
Did you do that in Houston? No. Grab a coffee.
He's loaded by that time. Shoot, man.
Yeah,
He turned Penn State around.
I got fired over the phone. They were like, "Yeah,
How challenging was Penn State though for you?
Your services are no longer needed." Penn State was, it was very challenging, but we had. I always tell this, like we had a lot of.
It was 30 less scholarships, right?
Yeah, we lost a lot of kids, and but we had the kids that we had. They loved football, they loved the practice, and they loved playing for Penn State.
Hackenberg was good for you.
Yeah, and then we had a good coaching staff. We had good guys on the coaching staff, and we were able to kind of keep it together. But you know how that place is. I mean, the fans, they're going to come out no matter what.
That's all there is, man.
Yeah, that's all there is.
That's all there is.
All there is. That's
awesome.
Exactly right.
Well, you've been everywhere, man. You were at CBS Sports Network.
Yep.
Right?
I would go down. I would drive down to West Side, New York. Rent a car, drive down 6 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, do games all day.
Yeah.
And then wait till the last one to post the USC game at midnight. Ooh. Drive back 3 hours. Sleep for half an hour halfway up by New Haven. get to the stadium and do pregame, but you're just chasing the check at that point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
So I only worked 2 days a week. So it was college football on Saturday
Yeah.
and then game day on Sundays.
That
And
is
it's,
awesome.
it's nuts. It's
What
nuts.
what is switching gears a little bit? What's the consensus on Diggs? You love that signing, right?
Yeah, I just think it just watching receivers labor
Yeah.
and not get open. You know
yeah.
how important it is
Yeah,
for. It makes the throw easier. It's like every throw's got to be the American League Play of the Week. You got to thread the needle because we can't get open.
And you got this guy May now with Josh there.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel great about May.
Yeah, and I think
I love watching him
he's. I wondered how he would do on it because he was so raw coming out.
Yeah.
And the part that pisses me off the most about it was, okay, you're the number 3 pick, but we're not going to play him right away. And I'm like, well, if he's the best guy and you're seeing
play
it,
him.
feed him. Like when Drew was drafted, he was number 1, so he was 2 picks ahead of him. Feed him. What are you going to start me for 4 games?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Drew's
I don't-
bigger, though.
And I know that
ridiculous.
we had offensive line issues too.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of issues on the team
Yeah.
last year, but the kid. The thing I get impressed with, that's like what Bill told Castle back in the day. Don't make the same mistake
Right,
over and
right.
over. He never made the same mistake. So he
right.
would get better week to week. The record didn't show he's 1-9.
Right.
But you got to find a way to get over the hump and win games. I think Diggs, to your question,
Yeah.
it's going to help you win those type of games because
Yeah,
they
no
were in
doubt.
close games.
No
And they
doubt.
finally let him win the deal. I heard you guys talk about this today. Let the player win the deal once in a while.
I mean, you're at a point now.
You got to get players.
you got to
players
get
don't
players.
come
You
here.
can't.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
if
not
I got
on
the
your
option to go
watch.
have fun in L.A. or go to Houston
Right.
or go to Dallas or go to one of the
Right.
like Godwin stayed in Tampa.
Yeah.
Blew out his ankle. He's got
Yes.
a young family. We like it here.
Yep.
We got Mike Evans. He's the number 1. I don't have to be a number 1.
Right.
You go to
No,
New
you made a
England.
good
I know it's
point.
a lot more money, but
You
I
got to
gotta
give
be
the guy
number 1.
multiple years too,
doubt.
right?
That's the thing. When he left the building, I heard some rumblings on it, but I can't. That's tough part of being on air. I can't. I'm not a newsbreaker.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm not an investigative reporter. I'm not out to break news.
Right.
There's stuff I know that I can't talk about.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I think he came in initially and wanted the 1-year deal, you know, and then he's going to want to. He knows he's going to play well. They're going to bounce and make money on the next contract.
Right.
They got to protect themselves. Get a 2. It's really going to be a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Has to be.
26 guaranteed.
Has to be.
Think
Yeah.
you
Both
both
sides
sides
win.
You think he's going to be an issue in the locker room?
No,
Not up in
no.
Buffalo
I think he's a
with-
dog. He's a gamer.
Yeah.
I think that, like all the great receivers I ever played around, they want the ball.
Yeah, they got.
And they
Yeah.
all have
bitch. Yeah, they
issues.
want the ball.
Yeah.
And Edelman said he's pissed at Buffalo, so he doesn't sense
If you didn't throw the ball within the first first series or definitely the first 2 series to Moss, he would go sit down the other end of the bench.
Wouldn't
like,
come near
wait,
you.
no.
It's a quiet.
Hey, like,
pop.
what you doing?
Oh, yeah.
One of those.
Yep.
Your imitation.
I want that. Bears have to edit this one out. I want that motherfucking ball, Billy. I'd be like, yes, sir. We're gonna get you the ball.
Take care of
But they're all
They're
the
all-
great
they're all like
ones.
that. They're
all-
Hopkins.
Yeah.
If you didn't get Hopkins the ball early, it was.
deal.
Taquan
Shut it down.
Underwood. He didn't complain for the football, you know. But I still tell that story because I was doing sidelines at the time. I was about 8 feet from when you and Tom playing down in Washington. The Hoyers trying to get between you two. And Tom said something to you, and you walked away, but then you came right back. You weren't done yet. I laughed my ass off. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, those
So
things
can we go to
happen.
that? You did. I forgot you did sidelines.
Yeah.
So you did that for a little bit, and obviously Gil and Gino.
Gil
were
and
getting
Gino.
old.
Gil retired when he was 80. Gino was 78, I think.
Yeah.
The problem with Gil wasn't the pipes. He could still, he had the big booming voice, and you knew you were listening to Patriots football. He couldn't see as well.
Couldn't see.
So they put me down on the sideline with a live mic, and I think it ticked Gil off a little bit because I would balls out. You know, I'd fumble. It's not a fumble. I'm like, balls out, Gil. You know? And then I really
definitely a
10 second
fumble
delay.
kick.
the year we went to Indy for the Super Bowl when the Ravens hooked the field goal.
Yeah.
I pressed it. He hooked it. Gil didn't get to call it. He was livid. Oh my god! But they retired like that late. It tells me I got 30, 35 more years of calling games. I hope not.
But that was the thing, right? That was the
Heart attack.
intention. The intention was to get you on the sidelines, and then
Up
When
it,
they-
yes,
yeah,
because we
okay.
knew Gino. Gino told them, "I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it one more year." Yeah, and then I got to do the color with Gil, so it
Right.
calmed me down a little bit. Yeah, It was good.
When we would travel to the the road games, I actually my seat was like right next to right really next to Gil and Gino right there, and so I got to know them a little bit. They were the best, man.
kind of like our flights. You were right
The-
next to
the
us.
dinners.
Right in the back.
But
the
Gil,
dinners.
Gil smoked. So
Oh,
like,
really?
oh yeah,
yeah. Oh man, Gil was.
I
he
wonder
would-
that.
So like the long flight, like he didn't have a smoke. Like
No wonder they have
he-
ashtrays on the trains.
He didn't smoke on the plane, but I'm just saying like if he.
I didn't know he smoked.
Yeah.
Gil had a
Yeah, he did.
complaint for everything, man. When we would go to Super Bowls, our drop off. Remember, we had to drop off bags at like 7 hours prior to departure. But Gil's wife would drop him off on the golf cart. He'd be sitting there 7 damn hours. What the hell's going on? And Gil and everybody saw him, but like, stay away from him. He's living today. But we would go out to dinners, and Gino would tell the stories about like the 3 Horse or the Bachelor's 3 with Namath. And that bar they had. Oh man. The Italian, we would always find an Italian joint, an old school one, and those were the best times on road trips.
Yeah.
That's what we do that with Cronin stories.
Pete,
Cronin diaries.
Pete,
That's all he does.
Pete.
He holds court.
Pete is unbelievable. Pete, Smurless, Diassi.
Yeah.
They all have unbelievable
Oh,
stories.
BC guys, you got to get these guys in here.
Yeah.
They'll be in there.
We've done 20 years. We're going on 20 years with Cronin, and legit on our 5 or 6 road trips, I've never heard the same story twice. And I'm like,
That's crazy.
well,
I've heard
one or two.
I've heard a few twice.
One or two, but like he come out with a story, and you're like, Pete, I've been
It's
doing this for
hilarious.
18 years with you. Where was that story?
nuts.
Like,
How about your relationship with Drew? You guys still keep?
Oh, yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are real close.
Yeah, we talk a
Drew's
lot.
a great guy.
Great guy.
Got the wine business.
He laughs now about the Tom stuff. He was so pissed at it the first time because he said, "Hey, Bill, Bill told him like you'll have the opportunity to compete for your job," but to Bill's strength, he knew it was Tom's team at that time.
Yeah.
And Tom wasn't going to give it back to him.
Yeah. But Drew would come back every now and again when I was there, and
He's back a ton now because with the wine, he does a lot of dinners, wine tastings. He's always downtown.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he and Tom, they're really good now.
he was
Another guy.
You guys talked about it before we started recording the roast. I didn't watch the whole roast, but he was freaking hilarious. in the
Yeah,
roast.
he did a good job.
He
Yeah.
did a really good job.
Yeah, like Zoe said, he's over the course of time. He said, this is this is what happened, and this. But so he has a sense of humor about it.
Well, he was the savior for the franchise. Him and,
no
and
doubt.
Parcells.
Yeah.
Like we always say, that's it's the house that Bledsoe built,
Yeah.
but Tom reconstructed it.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
he
a
drafted
green
when
room. I was a green room after the split up.
Dude.
Had to be a little uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, man. So in the green room, this is where Edelman and Gronkowski. So I saw those guys, which was great to see them. But then who else was there? Willie was there.
Yeah.
I think Matt Light was there,
Yeah.
as you know. Matt's an awesome
he's
guy.
a classic one.
He's a classic. So it was good to see all those guys. But Tom didn't come back to that thing after. He didn't come back to it was exit stage left for him, so I didn't get to see him. But yeah, the roast was an interesting night because I don't think I went with Bears and I didn't know we didn't know what it was going to be really. Like,
Nobody did.
And then it started and we were like looking at each other like I don't think we're going to exit. We're going to mosey on.
Don't get an eyesight.
Don't get in a shot
Like-
with Nikki Glazier.
The place was packed.
They had
was
you on TV
packed.
right away, man.
Oh, I
Like, you were the
know,
first
right
thing
in
I
the
saw.
front row.
Because I saw Bears. I'm like, oh my God, Billy O with him.
Being at the Forum, though, you probably had visions of like James Worthy. And
It was cool.
Johnson.
That part of it was cool. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good
man,
to
that's
be at the
freaking
forum.
That
great
building
stuff.
still stands, huh?
It's
It's
unbelievable.
It's like the old Astrodome.
Unbelievable. It was
Well,
great.
so where are the rings,
This
man?
is
You
fun,
didn't wear the
man.
rings. How many? You ever bring them out?
3. I take him to speaking engagements because who really wants to stand there and talk to me? They want to see the rings and like put them on. That Mr. Kraft is nice enough to give us 3 of them.
You got 3
So-
of them. All
And
right.
they're like as
So I've
big
called-
as his fist, probably.
I've called 5. We lost 2. We should have another one. That Philadelphia one. You throw for 505.
Oh my God, no doubt.
that was ridiculous.
Philly.
Didn't play Malcolm.
That,
Oh, that was wild.
No comment.
can you tell us what happened?
No, I was with
No one knows.
I was with him post game. He didn't know. His
didn't
whole
know?
family. His family was next to us the post game party. He came in. He was like sobbing. Like, Malcolm, what the hell happened? Nothing.
No, yeah,
He had an off week prior to it. And if you're not ready to go, he's not going to play you.
nope.
All right.
Why have a party when you lose? By the way, I always want to know that.
You
Like,
have
you
to.
lose. Like,
It's, you know what? Everybody
you have
says
it
that too.
secured.
Yeah,
everything,
but you
but-
go down there and have a couple.
People made
beers
fun of the Patriots this year because the Mayos threw a big party down in Southie. The amount of staff that you have, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
I walk through, I see the amount of people. It's the
Yes.
culmination of a year end.
Yeah.
Say, hey, thanks. You know,
A lot goes into it. A lot goes into it.
No, I
Nobody's
get
saying,
that.
"Hey, let's go party." We don't care about
I get
the
that,
game.
but like, would you get
The
on the
game's
plane
over.
and
Yeah,
do something
like-
back here or
Game's
wherever?
over. There's nothing you can do
Yeah.
about it. You know,
Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson. Houston.
too many
One of the great
people pay the
stories ever.
bills to not have that party.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, go Eagles, man.
Hey, thank
I
you
gotta
very
get to the
much.
game this year.
I really appreciate you
Love
doing
you,
this.
bud.
Though we love
Yeah,
doing. We love you.
I can't thank you enough.
BC's
man.
in good hands.
legend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
were
got to
thrilled.
get him to a game.
He'll come to a game. He brought his son to
Yeah.
camp last year.
Oh,
and
nice.
They'll
ball
come
is
back
nice.
and come to
They
spring
all
ball.
want to come to Notre
We'll be able-
Dame,
Billy starts
Clemson,
recruiting.
SMU, all those guys.
Yeah, get recruiting him. King Philip.
Just
They
get
got
him
a
in here.
great
Just get him
program.
in
Philip's a
here.
That'll be
monster.
it.
He'll walk on.
King
All right,
Philip.
guys. Thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah,
so.
so thanks.
All right, and Zoe, thank you. As we wrap up 35, spring ball well underway.
Yeah, we just got done with practice 7, and tomorrow's practice 8, and we're on the right track. I think things are I'm very happy with the team, the way they practice. It's been very physical practices. Quarterbacks are playing well. I like some of these skill guys. I like some of the new guys. So pretty excited about this team right now, no doubt.
Pro Day was great.
Pro Day was great. Yeah, Pro Day was
Feature point.
Yeah, it was a great day for BC. We had every team here represented to watch. Donovan didn't work out, but he was here. Ozzie and Drew Kendall did a great job in their workouts. But then we had guys like Jack Conley, Kai Robichaud, Dino Tomlin, Cam Horsley. Obviously, those guys did a really good job too. And the NFL was very happy with how it was run. So
32 teams were there.
Mike Vrabel spoke to the team on Monday morning. He did a great job. The team loved that. So I was very appreciative of that. And it was good. It was a good Monday. Good week so far.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've been to a lot of pro days. That was by far the best buzz.
Yeah, it was a good pro day. We got to keep it going. You got to recruit so you have future pros. But
you got Pete Thamel there. You got Mike Reese there. You got Tom Curran there. From a media perspective, it was off the hinges.
Yeah, it was good.
No, that's fantastic.
It was great. Yep.
All right, so you got a scrimmage coming up. A couple scrimmages left, right?
Yeah, we'll scrimmage Saturdays. So we'll scrimmage this Saturday and then next Saturday, and we'll pretty much wrap it up around April 12th. And then they'll take final exams, get a break in May, and then they'll be back in June, and we'll be rolling towards training camp.
Unbelievable. Next week, we got to do our baseball preview. Opening
absolutely.
day is tomorrow, man.
I'm hearing a lot of buzz about the Sox. Not just Bregman, but like a lot of good young players, and then Crochet.
I told you I was in spring training. Crochet looks amazing.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I mean, your son's going to love him.
But what about what's going on with Tatum and the ankle? Is he going to be all right, Celtics?
I think it's all right.
All right.
So
No problem.
Zoe says thumbs up.
DMSO, we should be all right.
Like Paul Pierce, they take him off
In a wheelchair.
He walks out. Yeah. The funniest thing is two guys helping him off the court. Tatum's got his arms around him. And I'm like, wait a minute, rewind that video. These two guys, one's 6'1", the other one's 6'2". His arms aren't putting any pressure on him, and Tatum's limping. It's such a bad look.
Remember that day, Josh?
Yeah.
The next
It's like
day
these
we had,
soccer players who get carried off, they're back next period.
we had so much fun with that the next day.
God.
Oh my god,
Paul Pierce one was that took the cake.
that was unbelievable. Zoe,
All right, guys.
Bill,
Thank you.
Zoe.
a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Bill, always a pleasure.
Yep, appreciate you guys.
We'll catch you guys again for
Good job,
episode
Chach.
36.
Thanks, Coach.
Chach. Oh, we didn't do our reads, man.
It's all right. We'll do them later.
You sure?
I
Coach,
like
gotta
that
go.
hat.
You like that hat?
Yeah.
I can get you one.
Did you get a haircut too?
Nope.
You're the best.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, Bears is right next door. Thanks, so.
Love you.
Join us again next week for
So thanks for doing
episode
this.
36 of the Bill O'Brien podcast. Thanks for listening, everyone.